we easily bring in like 300,000 a year.
Right.
And that's what our top, revenue coming in is. Now, how much turns into profit, that's another question. But that's really up to how you want to run your business. But the money is there and people are willing to spend the money for a good product. What's good about video is there's always videographers out there who are always buying the latest and greatest cameras, the best computers. They buy all these different pieces of equipment, the best lights, that type of thing. So you don't have to. You just hire somebody who has those things.
Hello and welcome to HR Connections. Our channel is dedicated to finding success factors of business owners and professionals who are at the top of their game. In today's episode of Global Achievers, we have Greg Ball joining us from South Florida. He's going to be telling us all about his journey, how to start a video production business, and apparently you can start a video production business even without owning a camera. So stick around, we'll be right back. Hello and welcome back. We have Greg joining us from South Florida. Greg, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Tarek. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. It's really nice to have you. You have an extremely fascinating story, which I think a lot of people would want to hear. So I guess I want to get started with the early days, back to your university days where you actually created your own major. So tell us a bit about that.
Okay. Well, I decided to go to the University of Connecticut. I was from Connecticut. And I went there thinking I was maybe going to be a journalism major. But they really didn't have a good journalism program. And so I wanted to really do something in communications and really do something in video. I was really always fascinated with video. So I decided to explore ways of doing that. And the only way to really do that at UConn was to create my own major. So I majored in communications, but my specialty was video communications. So I started doing video instead.
Okay, perfect. What led you to your job at Burger King? Tell us a bit about that.
So for anybody who knows about Connecticut, it's a beautiful place, but come wintertime, it's very cold. Not as cold as where you are, Terry, in Toronto, but it was very cold. And really, I was there with my wife and we were going back and forth. And, during a snowstorm, you had to spend at least an hour digging your car out and scraping the windows and that type of thing. And then we had an ice storm. And the ice storm really was the last straw. We lost power. We couldn't leave our house because we lived up a mountain. And so we couldn't leave anywhere. We had to stay there. And we put every piece of clothing that we had on our bodies and went to sleep with the blankets over us. And about 2 hours later, I woke up and I saw steam coming out of my mouth. And I know, oh my gosh, this is not the place for us. So I started looking at other places. And, we had some family in Florida. And we thought that might be a good place to go. So, I started looking around and I had a contact that I've known for many, many years, who's a staging person who does staging for big conferences and events. And he started looking around for me. And then finally, one day he called me and told me about a job at Burger King. It was a little bit below where I was at. It was almost like an entry-level position. But I went down. I had to come down, past Miami because I was putting on a convention in Cancun. So I stopped in Miami on the way home, did my interview at Burger King, and I got hired for the job. And what they ended up doing was combining two jobs. They had two positions. They combined both of them into one and gave that to me. So I started working for them. I worked for them for 13 years. And I was, my last position there, I was actually a manager of global video communications for them. So we handled all the videos for every restaurant in the world and, all the training videos. We ran their conventions. We We did executive meetings, executive messages to everybody. We translated videos because it was a global company. And so that really paved the way for me to do a lot of different things and learn a lot of different techniques as far as in video in a company, you're always traded. It's kind of like baseball. You're traded from one team to the other. Well, for us, you're traded from one department to the other, whoever really wants you. So I had opportunities to work in the marketing department, to work in the public relations department, communications department, training department, and so I did all these different things, operations. So I learned all really about, the business, and that really helped me further down the road when I started my own business. Now I had experience in training videos, marketing videos, operations types of videos, and how to translate videos into other languages. So all those types of things I was able to bring into my new job.
Okay, perfect. And when you first started your business, which year was that?
I started my business in 2002. So that's about 20 years I've been in this business. And it was, challenging at first. I did have a lot of contacts from my job at Burger King, but most people wanted to know me because they wanted to do business with Burger King as a, really well-known company. So I made a lot of contacts that way. I hired a lot of people to work for me. And now it was hiring people to work for me as a freelance, and freelance positions or contractors to help me with my business. So my goal to start off was to be a very small business, but a powerful business. And so I did the same thing I did at Burger King, because at Burger King, I was a one-person operation as well. I handled 350,000 restaurants. So I was the same, person, had the same kind of equipment. And so I decided just to go off my own, take all the skill sets that I learned, bring in the people I needed to help me make my business better, and start from there. But it was really a challenge. We built my website multiple times, found people to create a logo for me, found an accountant so I can incorporate a bunch of different things that went into it. And I will tell you that I had no experience in creating a business whatsoever.
Right, right. But even back like 20 years ago, you managed to get everything sorted out. And I guess you hired professionals to take care of some of these things. As you said, creating a logo, creating a website, and doing those kind of things. What kind of value do you see in business owners separating themselves from these kind of tasks where they're obviously not specialists in?
Okay. Well, one thing that's, I always say too is there's two aspects to your business. One is, are you working in your business or are you working on your business? It's really easy for all of us, and I'm guilty of this as well, of working in my business. My safe space is finding a dark room, a little corner, and editing videos and that type of thing, and not answering the phone, not doing anything else. But it's working on your business is a thing that you really have to learn. And also being an entrepreneur is really important as well. So, it takes a special, mentality to be an entrepreneur. And that's something I had to learn over years because, when I was working for a corporation or a company, if I had nothing to do that week, I was still getting paid. If I was taking 2 weeks off of vacation, still got paid. No matter what it was, I got paid. But the frustrating part of that was that I also saw all the other people, like my bosses and people like that, getting paid way more, and they were making money off of what I did. So the harder I worked, the more they made. So that was the really inspiration for me.
It's been 20 years, right? 2 decades. So much in terms of technology and so much has changed. So, how have you seen the business evolve?
Well, business has changed quite a bit. First of all, the one thing I can tell you is, and it's a saying that I have that I've always had, and that's that everybody has two careers, whatever they do, and video production. Everybody nowadays, everybody has, their iPhone. They can go and shoot video. There's actually companies around that will train you on how to shoot, good video with your iPhone. So a lot of people are doing that now. But the challenge on doing something like that, and what I always like to tell people, is just because you have the tools doesn't mean that you have the skill set to do it. For example, if you purchase a gourmet oven, are you now a gourmet chef? I don't think so. So would you have a party where you're cooking gourmet meals for people just because you have that oven? No. If you have a scissors and a comb, are you now a hairstylist? No. So it's not just the tools, it's the knowledge and the skills and experience on working with those tools to create something. So everybody has a camera, everybody has an iPhone, everybody has a computer. But, if you put all those things together, you can create some kind of video. But is it really going to be, powerful? Is it going to have the right strategic points to it? Are you going to be able to reach the right market with that just because you have the tools? And so you really need to step back and think about it. So for all the people out there who have, an iPhone, great place to start. Try shooting things with your iPhone and there's really cheap or free editing programs online. You can try that as well to get your hands into it, get your hands dirty a little bit and, figure out if there's something you like and then evolve from that. And then the other thing I did too was, I hired editors to work on some of our projects, even at Burger King. And I sat in and watched what they did, and I'd ask questions. Well, why did you do that? Why are you editing that spot from there to there? Tell me what your thinking is. And they would tell me. And so that's something I put in the back of my.
Okay. All right. Perfect. One thing I wanted to know is that presently, what kind of services does your company specialize in?
Well, we specialize in a bunch of different services. And sometimes that's a challenge because we're spread so many different directions. But primarily, we specialize in producing videos for businesses, for companies, for people's websites. If you have a small business, you need a video for your website. Video is really important these days, especially Google owns YouTube. So what that ends up meaning is if you have a video on YouTube, Google likes that. And that helps your search engine optimization grow, your SEO. That helps you become more well-known, all those types of things. So it's really, important to have videos in different places. And so let's say, one of my clients, has a company that they make towers, cell phone towers around the world. So instead of just having a person stand there and talk about, well, our cell phone towers are 300 feet tall and they are situated in this country, it's better to have a video that actually shows the cell phone towers, maybe has a video on a drone flying by the cell phone tower, showing the scenes, showing the beauty of it, all those types of things, showing people at work, with blow torches, creating the cell phone tower, that type of thing. So it actually adds more interest and people want to watch that because otherwise you're just losing your audience. Most, on a computer especially, attention span is usually maybe 5 minutes maximum. After that, people start looking at their phones, checking their emails, doing other things as well. So they kind of lose the content, lose the message. So if you keep them really visually stimulated and make the video visually interesting and exciting and good editing and that type of thing, then you really win the game. So that's what we try to do. So I have businesses, websites. We also do things for the medical community. There's nothing more important than for a prospective patient to actually have an opportunity to meet the doctor without having to go into the office. So now you see who he is, you see how he or she sounds, and you get an idea. Yeah, that's somebody I would like to go in and have treat me. So you get that type of thing. The other thing that's changed over the years is the advent of Amazon. Now with Amazon, everybody wants to read reviews of products and that type of thing. So they also want to actually hear from their peers. So nothing better than to hear maybe a testimonial of one of your peers on video, to do anything along those lines. So we also offer that opportunity to people for, video testimonials. So now instead of just hearing or reading the words from somebody who often could, be like fabricated, made up. Maybe that person doesn't exist. Now you actually hear from the actual client's mouth what they thought of the product, what they thought of the company, and why they'll come back and do business. And that really works well for an audience looking to purchase those products or services from a company. So video is really powerful that way, and it's much more powerful, and the retention for video is much higher than it is in reading a document. So it works out really well.
Right, right. Very well said. So, Greg, how do you go about marketing your services?
Well, that's always a challenge. One of the best ways of marketing, video services is word of mouth, or going to places and networking and showing them videos. But these days, especially since COVID, those networking opportunities are few and far between. So there's got to be other ways of doing that. One of the things we do is a website and also social media. And, everybody's looking for services on the web now. So it's easy to be seen on there, but the thing is, where are you going to be located? And, it's challenging sometimes because, depending on your competition, and there's a lot of competition in video, especially in the Miami area. I can go do a search right now, a Google search for Miami video production, and probably about 50 different companies to show up. So how do you show up? How do you stand out from the crowd? That's the biggest challenge. And so I've tried to do that with a really good website, really good demo reels that are right front and center of my my website, so you can actually see the types of projects we work on, the types of people we work with, all those types of things, and that really helps sell it. And then on social media, you plant little things like, hey, we just worked on such and such project, and it was really well received. Here's what our client had to say. So again, people get to hear a little bit about your company. They get to see photos or even video clips of what you've done, and that helps as well. The challenging part is, trying to find the right market for it. So like my market is really finding, executives who are looking to purchase video, or like marketing executives, that type of thing. And they're also bombarded with information, and it's really challenging to, get past the gatekeeper, so to speak. So how do you do that? So one of the ways really is just contact them on places like LinkedIn, which is a good source for my type of client. Other kind of medical journals for doctors or medical products, and different things like that. And just try and spread that out, But I am spread so far out between, doing videos, websites, medical videos. We translate videos. So that's a whole nother aspect of the business that a lot of people don't do. So I have something for that. And usually you can take any of those elements and bring in the other elements as well. I also advertise just editing services, because a lot of people now are, shooting their own videos, like I mentioned, on their iPhone, but, they don't really know how to edit it. So I'll work with them. And I've worked with people who take their iPhone and put it up on a little tripod, and then they talk. And I start speaking with them and consulting them on how to make it look better, sound better. Maybe you need a couple of lights, maybe you need to like frame it differently, how to frame a camera shot better, what other things you could put into it. So I work with different people that way. So there's a lot of consulting goes into this as well, and that really helps my business grow.
Okay. All right. Perfect. One thing that I'm sure a lot of people are very fascinated about, because it is a business and finance channel, is the revenue. So, what kind of revenue are you doing right now annually?
Well, revenue is kind of tricky in the video business. And the reason I say that is, for me, I don't bring in as much revenue as maybe other companies do that have everything under one roof. Some of my competitors have the editors, they have the videographers, they have, everything that they need. They have the SEO people all under their roof. So they are able to keep their prices more competitive and that type of thing, and bring in more finances. For me, I hire out most of these things. So now I have to hire out a contractor or video. I have to hire out a videographer. I have to hire out a sound person. a lighting person, a makeup artist, a teleprompter person, all those types of things. And so those all cost money. But when you look at the top of it, we easily bring in like 200,000-300,000 a year,
Right.
and that's what our top revenue coming in is.
Uh-huh.
Now, how much turns into profit? That's another question.
Uh-huh.
But that's really up to how you want to run your business. But the money is there, and people are willing to spend the money for a good product.
Mm-hmm. Got it. And I think this is where it's going to get really interesting for people, is that you can, as you were saying, that you can actually outsource or hire out all these services, whether it is shooting, whether it's editing, right? And you just deal with the clients in terms of their strategic vision, perhaps, and just setting up everything, coordinating all these services. So, is it fair to say then that, you know, maybe I don't even own a camera? I don't do any shooting. I don't do any of my editing, but I can still run a video production business.
Absolutely. When I first started my business, I didn't have a camera.
Uh-huh.
I didn't have an editing system.
Uh-huh.
I didn't really have anything. But what's good about video is there's always videographers out there who are always buying the latest and greatest cameras, the best computers. They buy all these different pieces of equipment, the best lights, that type of thing. So you don't have to. You just hire somebody who has those things and bring them into your project. One thing that I would say though is it's not just coordinating, all these things. What I always do is I'm a producer director as well. So that's something I bring to the table. So I will direct my crew, even though a lot of times they know how to do certain things, they probably don't have the same vision I do. And there's a way I see how it's going to flow, what I want to get out of it, what I want the message to be. So I'll work with my crew and I'll say, what if you shoot it from this direction? What if you get a close up here? What if you have the camera moving along? Different things like that. And then I'll also draw on these people because they've shot way more videos than I have. So they may say, hey, Greg, last week we did a video and this is what we did. Here's how we shot it. And I'll say, oh, okay, show me how that works. Let's see. And they show it to me. I like it. And I say, yeah, let's do that. And what that ends up doing is, giving me a better product, but also motivates my crew because they feel like they're more involved, more a part of the project. And that helps too, instead of just, well, this is, number 150 videos that I've shot this month. And here it is. Here's your video. And, they're not engaged. So that helps, your crew become engaged. And, the other things are, we also feed them well, pay them well. So they're more and pay them quickly. There's a lot of places don't want to pay right away. And, most people starting out will find that even in corporations these days, they always try to do something like, well, we'll pay you in 30 days, 60 days, that type of thing. So I try to make it so I pay my crew right away. And the way I do that normally is I take deposits from my clients. And my deposits always cover me. Cover my crew, all my expenses, my out-of-pocket expenses. They don't necessarily cover me, but that's okay. So if I get, stiffed or something from a project or a client doesn't pay, I still have enough money from the deposit they gave me to pay my team. So, they'll still continue to work with me and, I'll have them for my next project. And it's maybe only happened like once in 20 years. So it doesn't happen very often, but, people are kind of stingy and they don't really want to pay that much money any longer because they think they can get it cheaper. And they have, their nephew who can, who actually has a computer system and can edit their video for them. Uh-huh. So they try that. But I also get a lot of my clients, from that because they have a video that was shot, it was edited, and they feel that they look horrible. The video is terrible, and it's not getting any action online. So they call me and ask me what I can do for it. And I tell them how to do that. And I've gotten a lot of clients that way. Now we do a new video for them and they see the difference. Uh-huh. And they're more apt to go with me further down the road.
Okay. All right. Perfect. How do you set your prices?
The way I set my prices, and I always tell other people to do this too, is figure out, what it is that you need to make. What are your bills? You know, um, everybody has their own budget, for their home, cars, everything else. So what do you need to make a week, a month, a year to be able to survive? And, then take it that way. So some people may say, well, let's see, I need like $3,000 or $4,000 a month, and maybe I can, get 3 projects. So that would be $3,000 right there. Maybe it's $1,000 a project. So that covers my month. Maybe that works that way. But sometimes now you want to bring in other people as well, and they charge that much money. So now you have to take what you need and be able to also pay your bills on top of that, and your contractors and that type of thing. So it's really determining what you want to do for an hourly rate. Look around your area and talk to other people and see what they charge. What are their hourly rates? For video editing, some people charge $25 an hour. Some people charge $250 an hour. So it really varies. And a lot of that is really based on experience and, quality and that type of thing. So, you can always call somebody and say, hey, can I see your demo reel? They'll send you a demo reel. Say, hey, I'm looking at possibly hiring an editor. Can I see your demo reel? They'll send you one. So, and then they'll probably follow up if they're good business people with a phone call asking what you thought of it and that type of thing. That's what I do. But at least now you get to see the different qualities of people. There's other people you might see who really charge like $30 an hour. Ask to see their demo reel, and you'll be able to see the difference. So the same thing with shooting, with videography. Can I see some of your videos that you've shot? And then do that with different kinds of people. So you start understanding where things are and what people charge. And so maybe if you're just starting out, you might want to go to like the $20, $25 an hour editor, or, the really low level, video folks, and see what they do and what they charge, and then copy that. So you're at least in the same ballpark. Nothing's worse than charging somebody for something and finding out that you're not really equipped to handle that. So that's how I would approach that.
Okay, perfect. As we're winding down, the final thing that I would like to know from you is that who should actually consider pursuing a business in the video production space?
Well, number one, anybody who really likes video. Maybe you watch a lot of television, you really like it. You walk around and you shoot a lot of video with your iPhone or Android device, something like that, and you really enjoy it. And you try to do things a little more creatively. Maybe you shoot things so it's not just, everything the same, but maybe you shoot, different angles, like funky angles down low or high up. Maybe you have a drone that you've learned to use, and you want to shoot some aerial footage. So you try all different kinds of things and see what you like best. And then if you like it, then there's that fine line between, is it a hobby or a business? And what I always like to say to people is do what you love, do what you really enjoy, and then see if you can make a business out of that. So maybe you start off as a hobby. Maybe you keep your full-time jobs, and then you try doing these other things on the side. And so you get going on that. And then if you feel like you have an interest in it, go and find some companies who are actually doing video and ask them, can you be on one of their shoots? And you don't want money. You just want to observe and see how it goes. And you start learning the lingo. You start learning how people work. You have an opportunity to ask them questions. And maybe a little further down the road, maybe you can ask them, hey, can I work on one of your shoots for, I'll charge you a really low rate. And I just want to get that experience. So you do that. And then the next step would be maybe you can borrow some of the shots that they had and put them on, your own social media, your own website. Say, hey, I was a part of this shoot. Here's what I did during this shoot. And you start building up, a little more skill on who you are, what you do, and, and you start that way. So really taking it from what you love to do and making it into a business. So, and it can pretty much voice of your video. There's ways of doing things really inexpensively. For example, some people can, there's a thing called Fiverr online. You can look for a voice talent, and voice talent on Fiverr is very inexpensive. So you can get somebody that can voice your video better than you can. And so you write the script, you give them the voice, you hire the voice talent, and now you create your video. You can also find music that way, or other types of things that you can use that are very inexpensive and use in your video. So yeah, go to a store, go to a mom and pop kind of business, and ask them if you can create a video for them that if it's any good, they can put it on their website. You can either volunteer to do it or you can do it for a low fee. And I always tell people, maybe you don't want to do a really low fee, because once you do a low fee for somebody, that's your fee. Everybody else will come back and say, well, I know you did it for ABC Candy and you only charged them $200. I want a video for $200. That type of thing. The other place that, a lot of people look for video is on things like weddings, conventions, those types of things. But weddings especially, a lot of people want their weddings videotaped. And there's all different kinds of budgets for that. Some people have, spent all their money on catering and a hall and their honeymoon. They have very little for video. So you may want to do something that way. But you really need to be honest with people up front and let them know that you have very little experience, because nobody wants to have their video for their wedding shot and it turns out that it's horrible and not usable, because you can't redo the wedding. So those types of things. But the same thing for a wedding video. There's people out there shooting it, always looking for help, always looking for somebody to man like the second or third camera. And maybe that's you. So call people, talk to them, see how you can help them. Maybe it's not even shooting. Maybe it's just carrying their equipment for them. And so again, you get some experience, you watch what they're doing, and you learn. So that's another good point.
Greg, so if people wanted to find you, where would they look?
If they want to find me, it's easier to find me online. It's www.ballmediainnovations.com. And it's got all my information there. So feel free to contact me and I'll answer anything I can and try to help you as best I can.
Okay, awesome. All that contact information will be in the description box below. So feel free to reach out to Greg. And Greg, thank you so much for your time today. You have shared a lot of valuable information. And again, thank you so much for your time and the info.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for watching. We really appreciate that. If you liked what you saw, then hit the like button. We'll be posting at least once every week. So if there's a type of professional that you want featured on a future video, then let us know in the comment box below and we'll try our best. And finally, subscribe to the channel. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one.